Hey, also, I was reading some news on The Verge and also being confirmed by Jason Schreier that apparently Annapurna Games is basically no more after losing its entire staff in one go, which is insane. And the news, at least for me, kind of came out of the blue. I had not heard anything about some turmoil happening at the company. And so, I was reading into this and just wanted to share with you a little bit about my findings, just to keep you in the loop. So the staff of Annapurna, which is a publisher and most well known and acclaimed for their indie darling works, which we can discuss in a little bit. They had been in talks, the staff of the game division, with Megan Ellison, the owner, to discuss spinning off the video game division from the company. And this was mostly spurred on, to my understanding, by internal talks between the staff and leadership, because the leadership had an idea of, well, we want to continue to scale Annapurna's efforts. So the company has a video game division which is quite well known in the gaming space, but also a film, a TV, and theater divisions as well. And leadership said, well, we are pushing towards a mission to consolidate these divisions under one banner. So they start working towards that goal. They're bringing on this gentleman, Hector Sanchez, who worked at Epic Games to serve as president for this newly reformed entity. And Hector's role, one can assume, means, as he was pretty high up in the Unreal space at Epic Games, one can assume that their goal would be to scale, right? Bring everything of Annapurna under one banner. We'll have budgeting and financing to begin working on bigger titles, AAA games, so on and so forth. Things that having someone of Hector's experience level would be more accomplishable with that requisite experience in hand, right? So the staff of the video game division went to Megan and said, hey, well, we want to talk about spinning off the video game portion. And rightly so. I think they have some footing to stand on. I mean, the portfolio and spread of games that Annapurna has brought to the table are very impressive, and I'm assuming the staff is doing a lot of the work on finding financing and getting these developers towards their end goals of completing their games and launching them. And they said no. They said no, we're not going to do that. And so collectively, the staff just straight up resigned. All 25 staff members at the publishing company's video game division quit, according to The Verge and what I'm reading from Jason Schreier. So that is insane and really just came out of nowhere. And, a big impact I think this will have is, Annapurna has a huge legacy of publishing these, again, strange, weird indie darlings with interesting concepts, things that the average publisher in the video game space would look at and say, this is a little risky, it's kind of out there and may not really fit our vision as a publisher. And so it makes you wonder, without them in the space, how likely would it have been that some of these developers ever got their games off the ground or ever got their financing they would need to complete their games? And so that's pretty tragic from the lens of anytime you lose one of these indie publishers, especially a reputable one and well-known, that's just pretty brutal. It's pretty brutal. And while the company is still around, of course, the staff are the ones putting the efforts in order to make these games successful and really get them out there for the general public. And so, yeah, that's wild. It's just wild. I'm hoping that this group of staff that were at Annapurna are still very interested in working in the publishing space, have the opportunity to find funding they might need or find a new seed funder that can really help them get off the ground and just launch a publishing company. I would fund this company if I had, the money to do so. Who knows what exactly that funding would look like. But yeah, totally tragic. I mean, just some of the games that I've played that Annapurna has released are Edith Finch, Ashen, which was really cool, Outer Wilds, which is by far one of my favorite games to have ever been made, genuinely. Watam, which was a very weird game concept, Stray, which of course is quite acclaimed, and Cocoon, which very recently came out and is a beautiful and well done game. And not only that, but Annapurna had plenty of projects in the pipeline. I think one of the big ones that was highly anticipated being Blade Runner 2033. And so with their whole division, leaving, what does it mean for these developers that are working on these games? What does it mean for their funding and making sure they have people they can consult to be on the right path, to get their games done, to get their projects managed, so on and so forth. I mean, publishers do so much to support the efforts of the developers, if a good publisher, that is. And to the extent Annapurna was involved in those things, we may not exactly know, but I like to assume that when it comes to helping indie developers, that a good publisher is getting them along the way to really assisting them with their launch and not just throwing money at them or something. So, wow, just crazy news. And I just wanted to share that with you. I mean, what kind of impact do you think this will have on the games industry at large? I think it really depends on if these folks can get picked up and put somewhere that will allow them to continue their efforts, but I guess we'll see going forward. So anyways, that's a lot of what I wanted to share. And curious to hear your thoughts. Appreciate you watching the video. Please like and subscribe for more content in the future. Would love to have you around and bring this breaking news to you. All right, y'all. Well, you have a good day. See ya.